and we start with the starter, Chris Carpenter.
Chris Carpenter, the best ERA in the major leagues, and he has the best ERA in day games in the National League. He's won 9 straight games. Talking about winning, Brian Moeller, he is undefeated against the Cardinals, 5-0 in his career. Ryan Ludwig has struggled against Moeller, but he's back in the lineup. Hopefully he can continue his hot hitting here at home. And Trevor Miller, the lefty specialist, has really held left-handed hitters to a 101 average. Franklin used a lot lately. Maybe he will be called upon in the ninth. And Mark DeRosa had the biggest hit last night, a 2-run single in the first inning. He added another hit against Oswalt, and he's in the lineup and hitting over 300 against Moeller.
A look at Albert coming up next. That's 5 in 55. Off the field. His golf tournament is on Monday. Part of the proceeds benefit the Down Syndrome Association. This is a look at his All-Star game a few weeks ago.
This event is, of course, Albert's All-Star game, and every All-Star game has to start with a home run derby. And that was our idea, that we would get the entire Down syndrome community involved. It gives them an opportunity to be a part of the day, but it also gives them something to be very proud of and have people cheering for them, and to be able to show the community that let's not look at just my disability. I've also got abilities that maybe you haven't seen before. And the second part of the day is the All-Star Game, which is a group of young adults with Down syndrome that come out and play for Albert's All-Stars. These guys and gals are dedicated baseball fans, and they love to play baseball, and why shouldn't they?
I want to put a smile on those kids. I mean, they're so sensitive, they're so loving, and their heart is so tender. And I just want to bless them just the same way God has blessed me, you know, through my foundation. I can see life changing every day through a foundation. But we can't do it without the support and the help that the St. Louis community has given us to our foundation. So I really thank all those people that really donate their time and their support to our foundation. Let's get some run, guys.
Well, today is an incredible, day for the kids, because they get to come together to just have a great and fun baseball game. It's just about, again, encouraging them, experiencing victory, experiencing teamwork, having each other just a high five and stuff. So this is a day just for them specifically.
But when you talk about Down syndrome, I think people think that they can't do things, and they be able to do a lot of things that we're able to do. Obviously, it takes a little bit more time to do it, but they be able to work, they be able to play any sport. The most of the activity that we do is for the Down syndrome. So, and we just want to put this special event, so they can have a good time. And that's what it's all about, giving back to the community. At the end of the day, you can be a great baseball player and the field off the field, whatever you want, but at the end of the day, that's how you want people to remember you, as a great guy that loved the Lord, and then give back to the community and do everything that he could to help everybody.
game.
They'll be giving away 25,000 of these. I'm with Todd Wellemeyer and Adam Wainwright. Birthdays on Sunday for both. Todd, happy birthday in advance, and your reaction to seeing this bobblehead.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like me with the blonde beard, chin of a wizard. So I don't really see any Wainwright. The nose kind of looks like Wayno. It's about
Not a great resemblance. All right, this is you. This is you. What do you think?
I like it. I'm flattered to have one, for one thing, but I think my upper body's a little bigger in real life.
You might have to hit the weights. The chin of the wizard. Yes or no?
Chin of the wizard. He does have a nice chin, I must say.
They're going to be giving away 25,000 of these. Adam Wainwright bobblehead day on Sunday. Cardinal baseball is coming up next on Fox Sports Midwest.
On Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser Select, full flavor, 99 calories, the exception to the rule. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. By Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Those shots courtesy of Gateway Helicopter Tours Incorporated. And we have a trash can at the ready for Tony West, who took those beautiful shots of downtown St. Louis and along the Mississippi.
Tony thought it was an F-18.
Nice looking shots, huh?
Yeah.
Nicely done, Tony West, and our thanks to those good folks. Inside Busch Stadium, fans still filing in. Right now it is perfect for baseball, a warm afternoon here in late August in Mid-America. Michael Bourne, Jeff Keppinger, and Lance Berkman in the first. Carlos Lee, Miguel Tejada, Darren Erstad, Kaz Matsui, Chris Coast, and Brian Moeller, who's been terrific against the Cardinals in his career. And the Astros lineup, as they're trying to avoid a sweep, they'll get one of the best in the business. Chris Carpenter, healthy, our Marshall Wireless starter, a record of 14-3.
No doubt about it. Carpenter trying to match Wainwright. It's 15 victories, the most in the National League. He has the best ERA in the major leagues and the best daytime ERA, even better than that 2.16 at 1.69 here during the day games.
And so the last two that Houston has faced, two starters have both gone 8 innings. Pinheiro on the left, Wainwright on the right. And as you just heard with Jim Hayes, it'll be Adam Wainwright bobblehead day this Sunday, and he'll pitch on his birthday and pitch on his bobblehead day. Michael Bourne hitting .292 with 3 home runs and 30 RBIs, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. What is it about Carpenter that makes him so good?
Well, one is he does have exceptional stuff. He has the ability to throw any of his pitches over for strikes, but I think a lot of it's his demeanor, his competitive nature, and just his will to win.
And that pitch at 95, and he has mentioned in the last couple of weeks, he's finally feeling good, feeling great, as a matter of fact, and getting stronger, and that's scary for the rest of the National League.
It sure is, and if you're going to get to him, you usually got to do it in the first inning, because once he settles in and once he finds his release point and all of his pitches, he just is lights out. So like most good pitchers, we saw in the first 2 games of this series, in the first inning or so, that's when you get beat.
A strikeout of Bourne on the breaking ball. And let's take a look at the Cardinals defense here this afternoon as they look for a sweep with Holiday in left, Rasmus in center, and Ludwig is in right. DeRosa, Lugo, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield, and the battery today, Carpenter and Molina. The Cardinals defense is presented by Auto Tire.
Michael Bourne just said, these guys, the Cardinal starters, are at a different level.
And that pitch is taken a little bit outside, and Roy Oswalt had some interesting comments after the game last night. He said you just see a team that, you know, not to say that we're conceding this, that we're completely out of the race, but it's just a difference when you come to the ballpark, 40,000 people, the electricity in the air. And he said, you know, you tip your cap to the Cardinals with the way that things have gone and the acquisitions they have made.
There's no doubt about it, and you sure do love the players' attitude. That ownership and front office have done their job to give them all the weapons to take this into postseason, and it's up to us, the players. And so far they have responded with the best record in baseball since the Holiday trade.
And now you think about it, we've been around in years past where some of the players have said, boy, why didn't we go out and get that player? Why didn't we take a look here? Why didn't we do this? And this year there is none of that. It's, oh my goodness, we got Holiday, we got Lugo. Wait a minute, they went out and got John Smoltz.
Yeah, in fairness, though, you know, you don't always know if those opportunities exist.
But from a player's perspective,
sure.
They don't care. They're just saying, go get them.
I mean, they just feel that, you know, those deals are supposed to be made. And Tony kind of believes, you know, like, hey, if that first half, if we put ourselves in line for postseason, you know, then you like to see the front office help. But I mean, this year there's no denying ownership and front office stepped up huge and made every acquisition that, you know, you think this team could possibly make. They made them all. But I mean, what I'm saying is, like last year, you just don't know where the trading partners, where all the chips in place
Right.
to make those kind of deals. We always assume they are, but you don't know if they really were because the Cardinals didn't pull the trigger.
2-2 the count here on Berkman. A shift is on, and the third baseman DeRosa is near shortstop. Backing up, Pujols leads Carpenter to the bag at first, and the Astros go 1-2-3 in the top of the first. That's Brian, the helicopter pilot. Those great views of St. Louis. No score. Here in downtown St. Louis. And the Cardinals lineup this afternoon with Skip Schumacher hitting .295 and leading it off. And Lugo and Pujols, Holiday, Ludwig, Rasmus, DeRosa, Molina, and Carpenter. And the Cardinals will face Brian Moeller. His record stands at 8-9, but throw that out the window. He's terrific against the Cardinals in his career and this year. His numbers brought to you by Marshall Wireless.
He's 5-0 against the Cardinals, and he's 37 years of age. There's really no rhyme or reason why he's had success.
And the first pitch is strike to Skip.
Since he last defeated the Cardinals in Houston, he's been 1-4 with an ERA of 6.
I know you were watching the conversation that we had with Jim Hayes and Pat Paris and myself about the unsung heroes of this team, and we looked at 3 players, one of those being Skip Schumacher. That was my choice. The other 2, Joel Pinheiro, picked up the win last night, and Ryan Franklin, who has 34 saves to lead the National League. And the reason I went with Skip was because, and you can make a case for all 3. They've all 3 had great years, but for Skip to move from the outfield to second base, and this time last year you had no idea he could do that, and you knew Pinheiro could pitch in the rotation, and you knew Franklin felt comfortable as a reliever.
I totally agree with you.
And Skip hits it to second. Matsui there, 4-time Gold Glover in Japan, and puts it away.
And I'll accentuate it by saying that Pinheiro, if you're in the rotation, you're one of the 5 best, you're expected to be very good. If you're the Cardinal closer, you're expected to hold down that job. But the real question mark in my mind was, could going into spring training, could Schumacher make the conversion? Would he, such a difficult change in positions, and still be able to hit at a high level? And he succeeded in all those areas.
And here is Lugo, and he's hit .295 and coming into play. And the thing for me was, would the struggle mentally carry over to what he was doing at the plate, what was happening on the field? And there's been just a seamless transition, it seems like, from the outfield to the infield.
Yeah, most definitely. For the most part, he's hit .300. Not the case with Lugo, as he has struggled of late over his last 16.
And the former Astro looks at a pitch that's a little bit high, but called a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I don't think it was as far inside as Lugo thought, but I agree with you. It seemed like it was quite high, especially look at the target. He's set up outside and he throws it up and in,
which makes it look even worse.
Correct.
1 ball, 1 strike here on Lugo. Lugo is at shortstop today, and he hits that out of play. If you've been missing these, they are doing the 50 top moments in the regular season for Tony La Russa since he arrived in 1996. The 50 best plays or moments. And today it was the Rick Ankiel 2 throws in Colorado from early last season. The second throw for me might have been the best throw maybe I've ever seen an outfielder make. Slowly hit. Tejada bare hands and safe at first.
Nice.
Spacious outfield at Coors Field. He came up and threw it on the fly to third base. Tejada, good play to make it close, but safe at first as Lugo. Pujols digs in. There's a look at the Astros outfield. Their defense today presented by Auto Tire, and it's Moeller and Coast, the battery. That's what Julio needed, an infield hit.
Many times you stop a slump with just a little quail. In this case, a little bleeder. That nice play by Tejada, but his speed wins out.
Albert Pujols is hitting .318. 1 out and a runner at first. Lugo is a threat to steal. He has 1 steal in this series.
It'd be nice the Cardinals jump out on top and get another early lead. Cardinals are 7-1 against the Astros here at home.
And Albert fouls it. Now Pujols with 107 RBIs. He's the first player this season to 100. The 5th Cardinal to be the first player to 100 RBIs in a season. The 4 others to do so: Jim Bottomley all the way back in 1929, Stan the Man in 54, Ken Boyer, and also Orlando Cepeda. Cepeda did it in 67. Pujols back to Moeller. Out at second and out at first. A double play. And Moeller may be hurt. Those first inning earned runs and what he does subsequently after that. And it went 1-2-3 in the first for Carpenter against Houston.
He's allowed 7 earned runs with 83 batters in the first inning. And I guess you look down in the 6th and 7th innings, he's only allowed 7 earned runs from the 6th inning on and 149 at bats. So that's what you're talking about. He gets into that little groove late in the ball game and knows how to finish off a ball game in the winning column.
Well, so much has been made of the Cardinals since the trade of Matt Holliday to St. Louis. 22-8 since July 24th, the day that he came over. But truly, it comes down to pitching. The other night, only 3 hits, but yet the Cardinals win against Wandy Rodriguez. The pitching of Wainwright. Last night, the pitching of Pinheiro. Another 1-run game as Carlos Lee picks up a little blue base hit into right field. But the name of this game, Al, is pitching.
Well, it really is. It sets the tone, and you know the Cardinals are 7-2 in their last 9 ball games with a team batting average of just over 220. Big swing, and that'll fool a lot of hitters. You see, he gets jammed a little bit. Ludwig playing so deep where that little quail falls in front of him.
Think about getting ahead with first pitch strikes. A little bit surprising there. Carpenter over the first 4.
Well, and it's, once again, I think it's sort of that trend until he kind of gets his release point. Sometimes you're overly strong. You kind of can't locate your fastball.
And there's one in there for a strike.
But as time goes along, and also the sign of a real good competitor, which Carpenter is one of the best, is when you get men on base, they get a little tougher.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Tejada. And that is off the glove of Molina to the backstop. Don't see that very often. That's a pass ball charge to Molina. Off his glove and to the backstop.
That Gold Glove winner, but set up down and away, the ball up and in, and just off his glove. Hard to. Molina's even shocked at that, but now he put Carpenter under the heat a little bit as nobody out. The man's out there in scoring position.
And we talk so much about Pinheiro getting ground balls. It seems like when he needs one, Carpenter's able to get that ground ball, potential double play.
So you took that opportunity away from him.
A gap in the left center field. That pitch is up and in to Tejada at 95 in our gun. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You know, it's great to have that little extra velocity, but until you kind of dial it in and hit your spots, sometimes it's not as helpful as you might think.
A 2-1 pitch. Well, the Cardinals have really done a nice job, in particular the pitching staff, of shutting down Houston when they have a chance to do a lot of damage. Now, last night they scored their 2 runs with 4 consecutive base hits. To start this series in Game 1, Michael Bourne with a leadoff double, but then never advanced. Wainwright really buckled down. There's your ground ball. Schumacher settles and throws and makes the play. So productive out there by Tejada. That advances Lee from second to third with just 1 out.
Yeah, that would have been, not saying that same ball would have been hit the same location if the runner was still at first base, but Schumacher could have fielded that, stepped on second, and completed the double play, which, by the way, the Cardinals have turned more double plays than any other team in the National League.
Product of good defenders, but also a good job by the pitching staff to get those ground balls, and much of that is because of Wainwright, Pinheiro, and Carpenter.
Yeah, Dan, most of the time the team that leads in turning double plays is the last place club because they give up so many hits, but that's not the case for the Cardinals.
And the infield is drawn in here in the 2nd inning, charging. And this is Darren Erstad, who's in right field today, hitting just .214. We've seen him twice in this series as a pinch hitter. He's 0 for 2. And on the season, 2 home runs and 10 RBIs.
Very slow first half, but he has turned it up now in the second.
And a ground ball to Schumacher. Over to Albert for the outs. So big out there. Erstad retired, and it brings in Kaz Matsui. Now, if you're wondering about the end of this game today, Brian Franklin, according to Tony La Russa, is unavailable after getting saves the last 3 games, and this is our Hot Shots Exmo Cam presented by Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill.
Just a little tapper, and Schumacher looks him back and gets that double play. So, or excuse me, not the double play, but gets the out, strands the runner still at third base.
So here's Matsui hitting .238, 5 home runs, 30 RBIs. First pitch is strike. You talked about it, how the great ones, like a Carpenter, they bear down when they get runners on, and the pass ball, and now here he is after 1 out and a runner at third, now 2 outs and a runner at third, and a chance to get out of this jam.
And Matsui did get a hit last night, but still just 5 for his last 38.
Matsui into right center field. Rasmus on the move, and he won't get it. Couple of hops to the wall. It's 1-0 Houston on the RBI double by Kaz Matsui, and the pass ball comes back to haunt the Cardinals.
31st double from Matsui. They have their first lead of the series, right? Yep, that's correct. And ball out over the plate a little bit. Just hit it in an area where Rasmus could not get to it. Most of the time you think that you just get Matsui to hit the ball in the air, and I'm talking about more of a high fly ball. He's not going to hit it out of the ballpark, but that was a line drive.
And that pitch a little bit low to Chris Coast, the 8th place hitter. So the Cardinals once again will have to come back today, and they have made a habit of that here the last month or so, coming back in games. That's a product of your lineup being a threat at any time in the game.
Sometimes earlier in the season, before the reinforcements, that the pitching staff at times felt like they had to be nearly perfect because the club could pitch around Albert. And now, you know, with a lot more protection, just the confidence level that you know that, okay, if you fall behind, you have the firepower to catch up.
That's up, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Brian Ludwig in the 5th spot in the lineup, and many times kind of the forgotten man because of the acquisition of Holiday. But Ludwig, another solid year with 77 driven in. That really shouldn't be the case because he hasn't played every day from opening day. He missed time on the DL, and still you compare his numbers to some of the other guys that are playing every day in the league, and he's got 77 RBIs.
And if you really look in the last couple of weeks, it's hard for me to believe, but he's in a platoon.
It's fouled back. Be interesting to see what, and of course it'll depend on who the Cardinals face if they get to postseason play, but how Tony will use his outfield core come playoff time. There will be a set lineup, or will be like we've seen during the regular season, everybody getting playing time. It's taken high, and it's 3-2.
Well, remember he said, like in the second half, it's the best, who plays the best gets the most playing time, but Inkill's got like a 145 batting average. Ludwig, you know, is hitting only 229, but that's much better than 145.
3-2 pitch, and he walked him. So pitch that was up by Carpenter. We've seen a couple of hits this inning, and now a walk, and it brings in Moeller, the pitcher.
Carpenter walks so few, so he got great success in the first inning, but here he's having a little bit of a jam that you expected in the first. He's having it here in the second.
Moeller hitting .029 this year. No homers, no RBIs, 2 outs and 2 on.
That's why it's disappointing that you don't retire the 8th place hitter and then have the first guy, the pitcher, to make the first out. And those pitches right there, I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated not getting the calls.
Washington has jumped out to a 3-0 lead already, top of the first at Wrigley Field. We'll see Washington tomorrow night here at Busch Stadium. 1-0 pitch to Moeller. Milwaukee leading Cincinnati 4-0. That's in the top of the second. Big game today once again. Dodgers and Rockies. They have split the first 2 of that all-important series for the West Division. 1-1 pitch. Boy, he is not missing by much. This is Doug Eddings, our home plate umpire.
Yeah, and I mean, those pitches are borderline. But then we've seen pitches that are up and in that we thought were balls that would be called strikes.
Here's a 2-1.
That is a ball.
And he walks Moeller. And here comes Dave Duncan. So back-to-back walks. That's 2 in the game and 2 in this inning.
Carpenter right now, and Dave is doing a wise thing, is he's so competitive, but right now he's letting the umpire get under his skin, and you just can't do that. You know, you just kind of have to, you know, and he's good enough to pitch around it.
If you're traveling and can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast, catch all the action on your computer at MLB.tv. Over 100 live out-of-market games per week. For complete details, visit STLCardinals.com. That's where baseball is always on. Remember, this is a 9-game homestand for the Cardinals. We wrap up with Houston here today. Washington first of 3 tomorrow night. John Smoltz making his home debut. Off day on Monday. And then we will see Milwaukee in town.
Plenty of tickets available for that half-price outfield Lowe's ticket for tomorrow night. Also for the bobblehead on Sunday.
And a swing and a miss by Bourne. There's outfield Lowe's tickets, only $19.50 for tomorrow night. And you can see the debut of John Smoltz, Tom Henke signing autographs before the game in the Ford Plaza, and also the water bottle night is tomorrow. 0-1 pitch to Bourne. Slowly hit, tough play. He may go to the plate. He wanted to. And DeRosa can't come up with it. Infield hit for Bourne, and it's 2-0 Houston. Bourne picks up his 31st RBI. DeRosa was going to come home.
Well, he had to. Michael Bourne has that tremendous speed. He has the most infield hits, most bunt hits, most triples in the league. So you got a better shot getting Matsui at home, but it's a difficult play. You saw how he's trying to angle his body so he can throw on the side to home, and just didn't catch it. He's played very good defense since he's come to the Cardinals, and tough play, just didn't execute.
Brings in Keppinger. Grounded to second his first time up. Cardinals did not take BP on the field today. Neither did Houston, but one of the things the Cardinals did do, and here we are 5 months into this regular season, and they're taking infield and outfield practice. And that was one of the plays that Joe Patini was working on. He would pound it in the ground and have Thurston, DeRosa, also Khalil Green work on barehanding the ball and throwing to first on those do-or-die plays for a third baseman.
Right, but because of Bourne's speed, you know, really DeRosa did the right thing. His only play he had was at home.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. In the air to right, Ludwig now going out, and he'll make the catch near the line. Came in and had to go back. 2-0 Houston midway through 2. And other Cardinals fans via our Cardinals Live blog, and find it on our webpage at foxsports.com/Midwest. They are upstairs in the press box typing away as we speak. Get the inside word from Jim Hayes and Pat Ferris, the Cardinals blog. Busch Stadium, gorgeous afternoon. Apparently it may rain tonight, possible showers tomorrow, but right now it is perfect. And Matt Holliday leads it out for the Cardinals. Holliday, Ludwig, and Rasmus. Cardinals trail 2-0. They've been out hit thus far, 3-1. Those are the season numbers. What's that?
Cardinals trail?
I haven't heard a lot of that for a long time, as the Cardinals have opened up a 9-game lead. The Phillies have a 7-game lead over Florida, 8-game lead over Atlanta. The Dodgers have a 3-game lead over Colorado. So the Cardinals in the National League and all the baseball have the largest division lead. Boston 6 games back of the Yankees. Chicago, Minnesota 4.5 games out behind Detroit. And the Angels 5 in front of Texas. But now you're in a situation this time of year, you start to take a look at the wild card, and Holiday's swing and a miss. And right now in the American League, Boston by 2.5 over Texas. Tampa Bay is 4 out. They had a crushing defeat last night. And Colorado leads San Francisco by 3 games in the wild card. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed on the outside corner.
Well, we will say this. The umpire is consistent.
Did not give that pitch to Carpenter.
And it looked like Eddie's just turned towards the Astros dugout as he starts hearing the barking from their bench.
And Holliday hits it out to left. Did he get enough? Lee is back, looks up, and it's gone. Home run for Matt Holliday. And the Cardinals get on the board with his 18th of the season.
That helps out. Cuts the lead in half. I just didn't think that had enough, but just snuck over the wall off the Dobbs billboard. As it goes out and hits it towards the end of the bat, takes a little steam out of it, but just muscles it out, and Lee runs out of room. His 18th home run, 83 RBIs now.
Here's Ludwig, and he looks at his strike. There was a reason that the pace of the last 2 games was so good. The pitchers were throwing strikes.
Umpires calling strikes.
That's right. That's part of the equation. This is slicing into right. Over is Erstad. Makes the catch on the run. The right-hander's bat slices back to the right fielder, and he'll make the play for the first down.
Instead of a kicker, he looked like a wide receiver.
Sure did. The kicker at Nebraska was Darren Erstad and played on a national championship team. Made the final catch of the 0-2 World Series. Troy Percival picked up the save, and the Angels beat San Francisco in 7 games. Here's Colby Rasmus. David Eckstein, of course, was on that team and then later became the World Series MVP here in St. Louis. Eckstein jersey there.
We were happy to see that Eckstein signed an extension for the Padres.
Colby out to left. Lee backing up in front of the track to make the catch. Important, though, to have quality veterans hanging around young players. And San Diego, because of issues with money and payroll, they have decided to build within their system and try to dump big contracts, which they have done. Khalil Green being one, Jake Peavy being another. They talked about Adrian Gonzalez, but you still need that veteran presence to kind of show you the way. And that's where you wonder if the Pirates need that kind of guy there too.
I was just thinking that, and I know you have questioned with all the moves, but not leaving a few veterans to kind of guide those guys. It could be a major mistake.
Now, if you look back at maybe the last 3 or 4 years of players that they have had go through Pittsburgh, there's some pretty good talent there. You know, the Jason Bays and Nady, some of the others that have been there that would allow them to at least be competitive and not at the bottom of the division every year.
Some people do believe, though, now under Neil Huntington, their relatively new general manager, that they are starting to get some quality players in return. That they're young, inexperienced major leaguers, and so it's yet to be determined will they reach their full potential. But in previous regimes, some of those didn't get much in return.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. The team, and I don't know if you agree with this, that has been a little bit of a surprise to me. They're now 30 games below 500, and that's Kansas City. Now, we see them every year. We see some of the young talent that they have, and now it becomes a question, are the Kansas City Royals developing the talent properly? For instance, Alex Gordon, 2nd overall pick. did they rush him to the big leagues. He had about 550 minor league at bats, and now he was sent back down to the minor leagues recently.
So that's a very good point. And
Hochevar being another one. They think that he's figured some stuff out, but we'll talk about that when we come back. Matt Holliday has gotten the Cardinals on the board. 18th home run this year. 2-1 Houston. Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. And the first pitch by Carpenter is taken for a strike by Lance Berkman. Now that pitch has not been called a strike all afternoon. Doug Eddings, the home plate umpire. Brian Knight at first, Hunter Wendelstad at second, and Dana DeMuth over at third.
Doug Eddings' name has been mentioned far too many times already. Those umpires will tell you they like to have people come to the ball game and not remember who the home plate umpire is because he called such an effective game. Strike zone
is hit into center field. Backing up Rasmus, and he'll make the catch near the track. Help support the families of fallen police and firefighters on Backstoppers Night. This is a great night. September 11th against the Braves. Discounted tickets include a t-shirt, free hot dog and soda, plus a pregame parade around the Busch Stadium field. Backstoppers Night. The tickets are available at stlcardinals.com/backstoppers.
You're a member of the Backstoppers, aren't you?
I'm not a member, but I support the Backstoppers.
Well, yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay.
You're a member if you support them.
I go get the tickets for the great event before
But they
Thanksgiving.
have an annual, they have a dues that you can do, and what we all owe the Backstoppers a debt of gratitude and those families that make the ultimate sacrifice, the police and firemen.
Jerry Clinton, of course, has been instrumental in that program.
Guns and Hoses.
Love going to Guns and Hoses.
Yep.
Always a fun event here in town.
Wednesday night, right before Thanksgiving, the firefighters and the police officers put on a boxing match at the Savas Center, and you have about 18,000 people there. And I'll tell you what, those guys put on a show. And ladies.
Don't forget the ladies.
Yeah,
they added a new wrinkle to that.
You know, a few years ago, one of Mike Shannon's daughters fought.
That's right.
And Peggy, who was, a EMT at that time, so she was eligible.
You know, we were talking about rushing young players. I visited with a scout last week on the road trip, Al, and we were talking about Strasburg and being a can't-miss prospect, and he quickly said there is no such thing as a can't miss.
That's right.
He said he gets a kick out of hearing the media and different people in baseball say that this is a can't miss prospect, and he said the major problem, because I asked him, why is that? Why do you see that with guys that are so highly touted yet they don't make it? He said, bottom line is organizations at this point, he said not all but many, because the money in the game, are rushing players to the big leagues.
Trying to get some return on their money. And you're talking about a pitcher. It doesn't matter what age, but you're one pitch away from a career-ending injury.
And that's why I don't understand, like the case of Aaron Crow or any of the pitchers that don't sign. Aaron Crow is holding out, and he's been offered roughly $3 to $4 million. I mean, it's a pretty good start of your pro career.
Yeah, and told Shelby Miller, the Cardinals' #1 draft pick, the other night, and I said, who signed with a $3.1 million contract, a high school, phenom. And I said, if you want to make money, the only way to do it is to get your career started and get to the big leagues. And he was one that said, hey, I came down. I guess he asked for over $3 million, signed
right.
2.875.
Just under 3.
Yeah.
Right.
But now Carpenter's got that wicked breaking ball going.
So that's 3 strikeouts today. Tejada retired for the second time. Molina leads it off when we return. At home, so to make sure you get it right, strikeout 2-3 here as Tejada didn't run.
Now watch the throw. Look where the first base our coach is, Jose Cruz, as he almost runs into the throw. How would the scoring be then, Dan, for you keeping score at home?
You tell me.
2-3-3.
And one hurt head.
Yeah. Tejada wouldn't have known because he was walking back to the dugout.
Jose Cruz would have. He would have felt it.
It's
okay. 2-3. There you go. And this is popped up off the bat of Molina. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customized features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. We're going to have some fun tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning as a brand new field will be dedicated, the Bob Gibson Field. Bill DeWitt will be there. Hall of Famer Lou Brock and his wife.
On Kings Highway?
That's right. Sherman Park at the corner of Martin Luther King Drive. And the Wohl Center. Many folks know about the Wohl Center. Sherman Park has a couple of courts and tennis, volleyball courts as well. And Bob Gibson Field, that'll be the 18th baseball field established by Cardinals Care. And they have raised nearly $13 million, which goes right back to the kids of St. Louis. Well done. They also have a 19th field coming up before the season is over, too.
Like I said, those fields are one thing, and that's a great thing for the community.
And a base hit for Carpenter into right field.
But, you know, the Cardinals through Cardinal Care, that if you have a charity that, you know, that helps out children, you know, you can apply for a grant.
Here's Skip Schumacher. Give Michael Hall a call at Cardinals Care.
That's right.
Love to hear from you. Players are a big reason why over $13 million has been raised as they donate their time, and a lot of autographs. Base hit. Opposite way. Carpenter to second base, and Schumacher is 1 for 2. Your Stars making this Sunday extra special. Ice cream Sundays in the Ford Plaza for 2 hours. Bring the kids early this Sunday for Ice Cream Sunday. It's also a family Sunday. Terrace or pavilion reserved seat. If you purchase that ticket, you get a free hot dog and soda this Sunday. And it's also Adam Wainwright bobblehead day, and Adam will get the start on his birthday this Sunday.
His birthday and Wainwright, Wellemeyer's birthday on top of it.
Here's Julio Lugo, had an infield hit to snap that 0 streak. Was approaching 0 for 20. 1 out, runners on, and the pitch is taken for a strike. We hope people know that John Smoltz is making his home debut tomorrow, and come on out and support him and support the Cardinals. Good seats still available tomorrow night.
Seats available for the entire weekend.
Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Though. Seeing Smoltz in his home debut and see if that can carry over to this Houston lineup, what he did against San Diego.
Remember, he discovered a little mechanical flaw that he found, you know, since he was released and before he signed with the Cardinals, working out at Georgia Tech. Something to do with his foot, and also recovering from that shoulder surgery. You just couldn't finish off your pitches, and what that means is you just don't have the life or the movement at the end of your pitch.
And a ground ball hit to second. Can they turn 2 out there on to first? Safe. Good hustle by Lugo, and that extends the inning to Pujols. Schumacher may have helped here, trying to break up the double play.
On the shovel pass that, you know, takes a little time. You see Schumacher cleanly going right after Tejada, just trying to disrupt his timing, maybe so he can have something on the throw. And very close at first base, and the call goes the Cardinals' way.
Talked to Al McRae the other day, and I said, what's the biggest changes that you see in the game of baseball from when you were playing to now? And he said the rules. He said right now, you know, you can't go into a guy like I used to go into a guy. He said, ask Willie Randolph about that.
You could ask any. George Brett and Hal McRae were so vicious the way they went into that middle infielder at second base and almost a roll block. Bob Plager would be proud of them with the hip check. It's almost what it was. Just didn't have the boards.
1 ball and no strikes, 2 outs, and runners at first and third. I asked Hal if he's talked to Willie Randolph about that now that they're both in coaching. He said, not really. He said it's just understood. At that time, that's the way the game was played. He didn't like it. I didn't care. I was trying to win the game and get a contract, just like he was.
Hitters understood that, you know, maybe you had success against a certain pitcher that you were going to be thrown at.
Here's a 2-0 to Albert. And Pujols smokes one into center field. Sinking, but caught. And Michael Boyd is there. Another hard hit ball for Pujols, but nothing to show for it here today. Fox brings you the national game of the week as the Mets battle a Cubs team looking to gain ground in the wild card race. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3 Central, only on Fox. And Washington down the bottom of the second at Wrigley. They've added to their lead. It's 4-0 against the Cubbies. Ball 1 to Darren Erstad.
That's great news, but make everyone a lot happier if the Cardinals come from behind and take a victory here and then await the fate of the Cubs.
Erstad first time up, grounded out to second. On deck Matsui, and then we'll see Coast if anybody can reach the pitcher Moeller.
The Cardinals have had a very favorable schedule, playing a lot of clubs under 500, but you still have to play good baseball and beat those clubs.
Here we are, August 27th, so just about a month to go in this regular season. 1-2 pitch.
34 ball games left, including today. And what if the Cardinals just play 500 baseball, they end up with 91 wins.
I think we all figure that they're going to play a little bit better than that. Now the Cardinals will have the option to bring Gloss and add him to this roster in September. Josh Kenny would be one of those guys. But as we've talked about, not really sure exactly how you want to approach it with some of these players. Schumacher there, Erstad retired for the first out.
Gloss has hit a couple home runs recently, that on his rehab, but still hitting in the under 200. And there is a little clause, but even a guy like that would be added after, after September 1st, still would be eligible for the playoffs because he was on the disabled list their entire year. So there isn't, you would have to take somebody off, but you had that option if you wanted to.
Here's Matsui. Albert Pujols, a couple of hard hit balls. He's hitting .318. Hanley Ramirez hitting .365. How about Pablo Sandoval? San Francisco, he's got a chance to win the batting championship. It's had a breakout year for the Giants, and they've got two of the top pitchers, and Lincecum and Kane 1 and 2. Their bullpen has been good this year, but one of the problems for the Giants, offense. They just don't have enough offense right now. They have added Freddie Sanchez, and that's a guy that they felt would help their offense. They have Red Torria, and they've got good center fielder, and Molina had a big home run last night. 3-run homer as they won 4-3 in that game and got a curtain call at San Francisco's ballpark. But will it be enough at the end of the year? That would be a team that would scare you if you got into postseason play in a short series.
Because of those two pitchers, but
Lugo will have to be quick. Can't get it out of the glove. Base hit. So Matsui is 2 for 2 with an RBI double, and now this infield single.
When you put Lugo out there, you're giving something up defensively, and you're hoping that his offense will be enough, or you'll have a lead, and then you could put in Brendan Ryan for defense late in the ball game. But noted as more of an offensive player than a defensive one.
Here's Coast. Let's see if the Cardinals can't get a double play. Last night, Coast was pulling a lot of ground balls, third base and short. Walked his first time up. It was back-to-back walks to Coast and Moeller, 8 and 9 in this lineup. Back in second by Carpenter. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch count for Carpenter already at 66. Make that 67 on that pitch.
Just didn't have his command like we're accustomed to seeing, but still a pitcher of his caliber, they can win with a lot less stuff than others.
1-1 pitch by Carpenter. Pulled left side and a base hit. Coast was ready for it. So back-to-back singles, and it brings in Moeller, who walked his first time up. The Cardinals this year at home 38-24. With the better records at home in the National League, and against their own division 34-24. Always a key to play well within your division, and the Cardinals 10 games above 500 there. But the thing that stands out even with some of the better teams that could head to postseason play, you look at road records, the Cardinals 6 games above 500. LA, for instance, leading their division by 3 games. They're actually on the road slightly better, 35-27. Some of these teams just don't play very well on the road.
No, and Houston right now is in a tailspin playing on the road. They've lost 14 of their last 18 road games. Cardinals are 7-4 on the season, as they've lost all 3 games they've played in Houston, but they have won 7 of 8 here at home against the Astros.
Carpenter trying to figure out exactly how they wanted to use their defense here, as Mulder was showing bunt. Now Pujols is playing in, and DeRosa actually has his body shifted a little bit where he's almost facing the second baseman so that he can either charge or get back to the bag at third.
And that's why the defense, you want to bunt it to the left side hard enough to get by the pitcher and make the third baseman field it. So you vacate the bag. Lugo really trying to shadow Matsui out at second base, keep him with a short lead so they can get the lead runner at third. That's where Albert is so good. You know, he's so aggressive charging from the right side, and the whole key is Carpenter really cutting off the third base side, because Albert will be in there, he can cover it, everything in front of the mound.
0-2, here it comes, taken high.
Good pitch right there, because you're way ahead in the count. You elevate the ball. If an inferior bunter tries to bunt that pitch, he will bunt, bunt it in the air. Tony trying to give the signals how to play the defense. Looked like right there he's trying to tell DeRosa, how to get back to the bag.
And he gets the bunt down. Pujols thought about going to third. He'll get the sure out at first. Sacrifice is good, 3-4. Cardinal fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service, so go online to StubHub. It's the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals and the only site with Fan Protect guarantee.
One of the rare times that Albert does not execute that and get the lead runner. It must not have felt like he had a good grip on it. Looking back, I think Tony was talking about how Lugo to look Matsui back to second and then break to third to get there for the receive and throw if he had to.
So Mulder, the successful sacrifice, and that's taken for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. The command today for Carpenter just not quite there, but you wonder earlier in this game if he gets some of those strike calls, Al, if it's a different feeling for him out on the mound.
And there are a couple little infield singles that could have been made. Defensively, a little better effort.
I'll tell you though, I mean, you could say he's missed, but if he's missing, it's not by much.
Yeah, the umpire hasn't helped him.
And that's what I mean.
Smaller strike zone, but he still has not really locked in, got a lot of those pitches down.
On the ground is Schumacher. Over to Albert, and Houston will strand 2. Matt Holliday, who was homered today, leads it off when we come back. Schnooks, this date in history, Ricky Henderson steals his 119th base of the season, breaking Lou Brock's record. It was back in 1974, I believe, with Brock. And this is Michael Bourne, who leads the National League in steals with 46 this year. So Michael Bourne leads the National League 46 steals.
Funny how some people think the stolen base is going to come back in vogue.
And a lot of people believe that because of the current drug policy in baseball, where maybe the game shifts from a power game back to speed. And all you do is laugh, Al.
Yes, I do.
And that's a strike to Holiday, who was homered. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Just waiting for somebody on that on that list to sue the federal government for the judge ruled that they no right to confiscate that list of 104.
And the center fielder, Bourne, is under it. It'll be interesting to see how that all turns out.
So you're guilty of doing something illegal, so you're sued.
Washington adding to their lead, 5-0 now in the bottom of the 3rd. Best wishes to Ed Tabash, who is a few weeks shy of his 92nd birthday. He's in St. John's right now. And hopefully we can put a smile on his face with a win today. As Ludwig is retired, quickly 2 outs. What is it about Brian Moeller that it's made him so successful here against the Cardinals?
There's no rhyme or reason. 37-year-old, kind of basically a journeyman, and yet he's 5-0 against the Cardinals. He is one of only 5 pitchers all time to throw at least 60 innings against the Cardinals who recorded without recording a loss, and the only active player. Al Downing was 7-0. Almost 90 innings. Tommy Underwood, remember Tommy Underwood? He was 5-0 in 70+ innings. Frank Pastor, 5-0, 70 innings. Neil Heaton, the left-hander, 6-0. And then Brian Mulder is 5-0 with 60+ innings.
2 balls and no strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. Holiday and Ludwig, those 2 have been retired, and now Colby Rasmus. 2-1. Milwaukee leading Cincinnati 4-1. That's in the top of the 4th. What a tough year for the Mets, but they lead today in the bottom of the 7th, 8-3 over the Marlins. What a disastrous year for New York.
Oh.
All the injuries.
Oliver Perez, the latest one now.
And Gary Sheffield is saying that he needs a contract for next year. Nice pick by Matsui on the backhand. Cardinals go in order. We played 4. It's day baseball here at Busch Stadium. Houston leads it 2-1. the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Jeff Keppinger leads it off. Dan and Al back with you on this Thursday afternoon from Busch Stadium. The Fox Sports Midwest crew, and Keppinger fouls it back. It's the second place hitter, followed by Lance Berkman and Carlos Lee.
Keppinger playing third base and I was a little surprised one time last night that we didn't see Blum, pinch hit. And at first we thought he was in the lineup, but they sent him back to Houston to have his shoulder examined.
And they are anticipating that Aaron Boone would join the club tomorrow, recovering from open heart surgery, 36-year-old. That's a breaking ball and a fair ball. DeRosa makes the play on the backhand. Keppinger 0 for 3. See, DeRosa here really took his time.
Yeah, you do this, and you don't want to panic. You see, he knew exactly how much time he had. You just take your time, you set up there. And once again, we have to talk to Albert about how he's receiving those balls as he's almost in the baseline. A couple times we mentioned last night where he received the ball and then
ran up the line.
Stepped right up in the base path, right beyond the bag.
Pujols will take this quickly to first, and Carpenter is there as they beat Berkman. Second time we've seen that today, and Berkman is 0 for 3. And this could be a quick inning for Chris.
Well, he needs one of those because he's had some innings where he labored a little bit. This is really a nice play. Look at this perfect lead. And a little bit slightly there, but you run down the line, gauging the speed of the base runner. A lot of times you'll just run right up parallel to the line, and then you can, in your peripheral vision, you see the throw and the bag, and makes it easy. If a guy runs really fast, you got to make more of a direct approach. It makes it tougher to catch the ball and step on the bag.
Last pitch, a good example of Carpenter not getting that call, and now it's 2 balls and no strikes. And I think he gets frustrated with that.
And then you see him make a pitch like that where he's still thinking about the non-strike call, where he just kind of carelessly throws one. But it's what he's such a perfectionist.
3-0.
And you see Carlos Lee just standing out there, not even attempting to swing. He'll take a time and regroup. You just get the idea. Lee's not wanting, he'll be swinging now, but he had no intent the first 3 pitches.
That's a strike, 3-2.
And that was a strike. I mean, it's right down the middle. Now Lee looks back.
Look how far Lee is off the plate, too. 3-2 the count. And he got him. Comes back to get him and strikes him out. 4th strikeout for Carpenter. The 3 outs this inning. It started with DeRosa off the bat of Keppinger. Then Albert to Carpenter covering first. Berkman retired. Lee, after a head 3-0, strikes out. DeRosa leads it off when we come back. Smoltz, his 9th overall this season. He had 8 with Boston. The Nationals and the Cardinals will come your way with a pregame show at 6:30. Game 1 of that 3-game series right here on Fox Sports Midwest. So John Smoltz getting the start against John Lannon. Lannon, the poor Washington team this year, is 8-9.
And I know Caitlin Cahill will be at that game tomorrow night watching John Smoltz, and congratulations to her grandparents on their 48th wedding anniversary. Richard and Catherine Cahill, 48 years of anniversary. Where are you going to be on your 48th anniversary, Dan?
Where I always am, Al, take you in a baseball game.
And hopefully your bride of 48 years will be by your side, because I won't be.
Let's be honest, Al. I won't be here either. I won't be here either.
Yes, you will.
That's debatable. I've had to travel with you for 10 years, and it's taken a lot off my life.
Now, what do you got? About, is that close to 40 years left for your 48th?
Yes.
You an 8th year?
Oh, please get this right. Thanks, Al. Year 6, wedded bliss.
I'll check with Libby and see if you're correct.
Why do you start these conversations that can only get me into trouble? This can only go the wrong way.
Payback.
2-2 the count here on Mark DeRosa. You talk to Mark, and he's such a cerebral player. I'll tell you about every situation and how he feels he may be pitched from previous experiences or players that he played with or against. It's amazing to hear these guys with this kind of talent, but they talk about the mental aspect of the game, and he's one of those guys that's very good at communicating that.
One of the things that I liked about his interview with Jim Hayes last night was how he gives a lot of credit to everybody else around him on his team. And you're right, he's a real stand-up guy.
Well, they said with the Cubs that he was about as good a teammate you could find. And, you know, the Cubs obviously have had issues on and off the field with Milton Bradley.
I was going to say, they're just kind of a contrast, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you lose a guy like DeRosa, and, you know, that's a big shot over the course of a 6-month regular season.
Well,
over to get it, Berkman. Good play.
High sky, that's a tough play. He's got his glasses down, but not only DeRosa, but how about the loss of Marquis to clear payroll so they could add, you know, Milton Bradley, who did come through last night with a big home run and help their winning cause. But there's that high sky, glasses down.
He was 4 for 4 the game before that too, Milton Bradley. He had the trouble with the Dodgers in the playoffs against the Cardinals at the Old Busch Stadium. Had a run-in with a member of the media, hurt his knee with an argument. Had an issue obviously in Chicago a couple times this year. That's unfortunate.
Kansas City with one of their broadcasters threatened to go up to the broadcast booth and take care of business.
Quickly, 0-2 with 2 outs here on Carpenter. We're in the 5th. It's 2-1 Houston.
I will say it was the play-by-play man too.
Oh, I remember. It was duly noted.
And the Fever told us what he said, and it really wasn't anything that a player should even have thought twice about.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. Mentioned that one of the concerns going into this season for Houston, their starting rotation, and it has been better than they thought. Now the big concern is their bullpen.
It's just throw right there, and it's a good thing that Mueller got his glove up. I heard the reaction of the fans, and I wasn't sure what it was. And I thought it was the throw back, but I thought maybe it got it out to the outfield. I didn't realize that he almost decapitated the pitcher.
And Carpenter reaches for it, hits it to second, backing up a step or two. Matsui and the Cardinals go quietly here in the bottom of the 5th. Cy Moeller continues. It's 2-1. Summer clearance is here. Get to your Chrysler dealer today for some of the best deals of the season. And brought to you by Taco Bell's new Volcano menu. It's seriously spicy. So we move to the 6th. It's Tejada, Erstad, and Matsui. Houston with a 2-1 lead. Brian Moeller's been terrific against the Cardinals, and it's carried over again this afternoon. Up and into Tejada, who has struck out and also grounded out to second, 0 for 2 on the day. One-0 pitch by Carpenter. Hit to DeRosa. Easy play. Tejada 0 for 3. We sit here and look at Carpenter and we say, well, you know, he's maybe not had the control that we've seen in a couple previous starts, and then you look up, only giving up 2 runs, only 5 hits, and still in control of this game. I mean, that's how good he is.
That's it. He's got a 9-game winning streak. Best ERA in the major leagues.
I would be very curious at this point if you took a poll of the national media what they feel about the Cy Young Award. When you mention Carpenter, Wainwright, Lincecum, Johnson, Kane, all those names will be mixed in.
What's going to hurt the Cardinal starters, talking about Carpenter and Wainwright, is the lack of complete games. But Wainwright's innings are very comparable. There's our buddy. Back from Canada, huh, Kelly?
Carpenter at 2.16 ERA, Kane at 2.39, Lincecum 2.43, and Wainwright 2.50.
Lincecum has all the strikeouts. That's a glory stat for the Cy Young.
214. Wainwright at 157. That's fouled back. And right now, as we speak, Carpenter at 2.21. So still ahead of Kane ever so slightly. Those 5 weeks that he missed, that'll hurt him.
Yeah, and what does help him is just 3 losses. So if he can win here today and equal Wainwright for the most in the National League, at 15-3 looks a lot better than what, 15-7. But look at the innings pitched between, Wainwright.
This is well hit into deep right field. Ludwig is going back near the wall with room on the track, and he puts it away. So a long fly ball out off the bat of Erstad, and let's take a look at our Aflac trivia question here today. Who was the last Cardinal to lead baseball in ERA? One of Al's favorites.
Yeah, Joe McGrain, 218.
That was back in 1988. He's now working for Major League Baseball Network, MLB Network.
But you know, as good as that ERA was, he had a losing record.
That's right. Was coming off a World Series team in '87. Joe McGrain, for a number of years, was a broadcaster with Tampa Bay and now working in New York at MLB Network. Does a good job, too.
Remember the prank his teammates played on him? Joe fancied himself as a
sophisticated man.
A dresser, too.
Yes.
And so his teammates, in the dead of July, said, you know, hey, GQ wants to do a photo shoot of you. And, of course, it's going to be, you know, it's in the dead heat of Old Busch Stadium on the turf and everything else. And they said, but it's going to be a January issue. So we want you to bring all your wool suits and overcoats so we can really get this layout.
Going back is Lugo. I'm assuming it was a little warm.
A little warm, and he brought all the wool coats.
Top of the lineup coming up. It's 2-1. Together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe easier. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Jim Jackson working in the radio booth, their producer engineer.
And you know, the Cardinal offense has kind of been trickling, and we really like to maximize the flow of the Cardinal offense and really get things going against Moeller.
The first pitch to Skip Schumacher was a strike. I know what you're saying, Al. 0-1 pitch. And a ground ball. Not many hard hit balls today against Moeller. There's Schumacher now 1 for 3.
It's just funny how some guys match up against a certain team and they just, you know, just no reason why, but they dominate against a good offense.
And Skip, it was a changeup away and then a fastball in, and now 1 for 3 with a single. Lugo an infield hit and also grounded into a fielder's choice. 1 for 2. And Moeller's been around the plate all afternoon too. 61 pitches, 42 have been strikes. Houston picked up 2 in the second. The Cardinals got their run in the bottom of that second inning. And at the knees for a strike. On deck, Pujols. Warm afternoon, especially if you're in the sun here today at Busch Stadium. Down on the field before the game, as I mentioned, no BP, but they did take infield practice, and it was warm, but we have had just an unbelievable summer here in St. Louis. Temperatures have been ideal, exception for about maybe 1 week.
And I think for the veterans of summer, St. Louis summer heat, this has been a welcome relief.
1-2 pitch to Lugo. Here it comes. Spoils it.
Got a great big 40th birthday wish for Tommy Mauer. Tom Mauer III is 40, and I know Aaron, his lovely wife, but Jackson, Gracie, and Natalie are wishing Daddy a big 40th birthday.
Lugo shoots it into deep right center field. Bourne on the move. He won't get it. To the wall. Lugo to second. Lugo will stop there. Bourne playing in. Couldn't catch up with it. And it's a 2-hit day for Julio Lugo. In steps Pujols with a tying run at second base.
Tony La Russa putting Lugo in there, hoping for a little more offense. Sacrifice a little defense, and ball in the middle of the plate, slices it out there over the head of Bourne, who has terrific speed. And Lugo thought about going for 3, but even though they kind of botched the relay a little bit, he did the right thing in staying at third base. Now we'll see if they want to intentionally pass, and they are. This is only the second time they have intentionally passed Albert in about the last 20 games because of the respect they have for Holiday.
I'm not so sure this is the right move.
Oh, I agree with you, because right now I think Holiday's a equal, or if not a little hotter hitter than Albert Pujols.
And remember, he homered earlier today.
So Albert will extend his single season record to 38 in intentional passes with this free pass.
See, now this is where you and I differ, because when Lugo was going to second, I'm waving him. Go to third. And you're sitting there saying, hold on.
Well,
and that's the right move. I agree with you. I'm getting greedy, though.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have changed. It would have walked to Albert.
Pitch in for Healthy Smiles with Delta Dental, and the Cardinals purchase a $2 raffle ticket for a chance to win an autographed baseball by Albert and join the Smiles League. The proceeds benefit local charities that help kids have healthy smiles. For information to buy your tickets, please go to smilesleague.com. So 2 on for Albert.
The Astros are just behind the Cardinals in turning double plays in the National League. The top spot, but Holiday always runs hard. Think about all the infield singles he's already acquired since he's been here.
So 2 on, Matt Holliday, 1 out. First pitch, a strike. Holliday today homered and also flied out to center. Real key part in this game is right here. Now they have a lefty and a righty throwing in the bullpen. Gervasio and Burdak. Burdak the lefty. 0-1 pitch. Holliday. Little chopper to third. It's a fair ball. Only play across the diamond. And 2 runners now in scoring position for Ludwig.
Didn't hit it hard enough for them to go to second base, so he had to get the 1 out, and best option was to first. So now Ludwig, who has not had much success against Moeller, but Tony put him in the lineup today, and he's 0 for 2. He didn't line out hard to right field his first time up. But here is the big at bat of the game right now. Maybe this is Tom Mauer's birthday present from the kids.
First pitch to Ludwig. Taken for a strike. Brian today has flied to right and also grounded out to short. Out to visit Coast. There's a place called the Ballpark Saloon, I think, that Tom Mauer is a part of. And oh, your name happens to be on that too. Al Raboski's Ballpark Saloon.
Right
across the street.
And hopefully they're all jumping for joy after Ludwig's at bat. Happy birthday, Tommy. From Dan.
Cardinals with a righty up and throwing in their bullpen. I believe that's Hawksworth.
I think so too.
0-1 pitch. Ludwig up the middle, base hit. This game is tied. Here comes Pujols. Here comes a throw to the plate. He is saved. Ludwig delivers with 2 outs. And the Cardinals have their first lead of the afternoon, 3-2. Ryan Ludwig now with 79 RBIs. And let's go pitch by pitch, brought to you by Chevrolet.
And breaking ball there in the first pitch. And then a fastball. He leaves belt tie in the inner part of the plate. These outfielders thrown out, had a lot of assists, but not particularly strongest throwing arms. And Albert scores. He's got 99 runs scored now. Albert Pujols, where obviously he's going to get to 100 again.
Here's Rasmus, who is 0 for 2. He's flied to left and also grounded out to second. And that pitch taken low. You know, with Hawksworth continuing to throw, makes you think that that might be it for Carpenter. He has not stopped throwing. He's not sat down. And only the righty is getting loose now for Houston.
Albert acts as left-hander, and if they didn't bring him in against Rasmus,
not going to bring him in now.
Not going to bring him up in for the 3 hitters.
That's right.
So.
And it's hit to Berkman, who steps on the bag. But the Cardinals, thanks to Ludwig, a 2-out base hit up the middle. 2 RBIs. They lead it for the first time today. 3-2, St. Louis. Cut of the game and 2 more RBIs, edging closer to 80. Now it's 79. Here's a look at it. The Hardys' prime cut of the game.
Base hit right up the middle, but it's good enough for 2 RBIs, and the Cardinals now lead 3-2, and a little bit surprising. I know Carpenter wasn't with his best stuff, but still he held them to 2 runs on 5 hits, walked a couple, and our Chevy's call the bullpen brings in Blake Hawksworth. Second stint with the club, 18 appearances, 1-0, ERA under 3. And really, if you look at since he's been up the second time, he has really pitched so much better and really has done a tremendous job. Double switch, Brendan Ryan now playing short.
Well, you think about, and it was 98 pitches for Carpenter, but you think about the importance of Hawksworth here, Al, and the way that Tony has been using him in these games. And it all began, those 3 innings, extra innings against the Dodgers, that first home series when Matt Holliday was part of the Cardinals.
And pretty much out of necessity.
Yeah, and he's really filled a nice role.
Yeah, Tony went to him, and he came through with those 3 shutout innings and an extra inning game, tie score, got rewarded with his first big league win. Had a scoreless streak stopped as he gave up a run in L.A., but.
And a base hit into right.
Ryan Franklin having the day off, we'd think that Trevor Miller could kind of maybe be involved in that 9th inning and a chance for a save. But a lot of game left in that leadoff base hit. And now Moeller is going to be pinch hit on Masonette.
So 6 innings, 6 hits, and 3 earned runs for Carpenter allowed today as he strikes out 4. A situation here where you might want to have Moeller bunt, but you know they don't feel real comfortable. Excuse me, only 2 runs allowed by Carpenter, but they don't feel real comfortable with Moeller at the plate.
And Moeller did get a sack. He got a sack down, but he didn't look comfortable doing so. And that was only Moeller's 2nd sack of the year, or 3rd of the year. So you burn a position player to get that, what a pitcher should be able to do.
So sacrifice 1-3 on the play.
You know, Dan, that's one of the things, you know, where all these clubs carrying extra relievers and fewer position players, you know, you really run the risk of running through your bench by burning a position player on something that really all pitchers should be able to do.
So now the tying run in scoring position out at second base. We're here on the 7th. It's 3-2 Cardinals. Here's Michael Bourne. Swing and a miss. As an infield hit that was back in the 2nd with the bases loaded. Also grounded out to 2nd with runners at 2nd and 3rd, and struck out back in the 1st.
We didn't talk about this, but you know the difference in this game is the intentional walk to Albert, who came around to score in Ludwig's 2-run single.
Yep.
So they got Holiday out, but that extra run that they put on via the walk is the difference in the game now.
Washington leading in the bottom of the 5th, 5-3 over the Cubs. Cincinnati, after trailing 4-1, they now lead at 6-4 over Milwaukee. LA has jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the top of the 3rd over the Rockies. Runner at 2nd, the tying run. Coast. Fastball and a strike 1-2.
94-mile-an-hour. His sinker, when he is on, he keeps that ball down, and he has good movement on his sinker. And a 94-mile-an-hour sinker gets your attention. The slider is improving. He's got a pretty good changeup.
And a ground ball. Brendan Ryan is there. He was part of the double switch. Fires it to first, and they just got him. Boy, that was close.
Michael Bourne upset as he has that terrific speed, has the most bunt and infield singles in the National League. Brendan, got to know who's running. And wow, I think the Cardinals caught a break there.
He's safe.
Yep, he's safe, but our arbitrator ruled otherwise.
Cardinals catch a break, 2 outs, runner at 3rd.
There's a pitch right there that Carpenter knows very well, that Looks like a strike, but hasn't been called that much. Outside to the right-handed batter.
Jeff Keppinger. A couple of ground outs and a fly out. Tying run at third base.
So another pitch right there. I mean, pitchers want to keep the ball down. They want to keep it on the corners, and you're not being rewarded.
Backhanded by Pujols, knocks it down. Hawksworth is there. Houston strands a runner. Time to stretch. It's day baseball today on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals trying to hold on and get a sweep. Pujols trying to hold on as well. 3-2 St. Louis. Have a 3-2 lead. Chris Carpenter gave the Cardinals 6 innings. It's now been turned over to the bullpen. Houston picked up 2 in the second. The Cardinals a run in the bottom half, and then in the 6th inning, as Matt Holliday went deep for the Cardinals' first run of the game, 6th inning, Ryan Ludwig a single up the middle, and that's given the Cardinals this 3-2 lead. Game recap presented by Infinity. Mark DeRosa leads it off. 7, 8, and 9 for the Cardinals. This is Gervasio. We saw him pitch last night.
Yeah, retired the only 2 men he faced. Non-drafted free agent from the Dominican. Recalled for the 2nd time on August 14th by the Astros. First time he did not appear in a game, and he's not allowed to run in 6 of his 7 career Major League appearances.
Tough pitch right there. Kind of slings it up there, a little breaking ball.
Boy, how often do we talk about a Latin player, and that description of slinging the ball up there is so accurate.
And remember, he had 2 pitches last night. And you talked about a retired 2. It took him just 2 pitches. So comes back easily today. DeRosa rounds out over 3. Underway here in the bottom of the 7th. Numbers on Sammy Gervasio. 1.29 ERA.
Round Rock, 39 games. He was 2-2 with an ERA just under 5. Did strike out more than 1 per inning.
And a ground ball pulled foul off the bat of Molina, who is popped out to second, flied out to center. This is our Chevy called to the pen. Pitch misses inside. Cincinnati added to their lead. It's now 7-4.
Berkman due up for the Astros in the 8th inning. Reyes is warming up for the Cardinals.
And a 1-1 pitch. Misses on the outside corner. If LA can hold on, they lead 2-0 early in their game. They would lead by 4 over Colorado and 6.5 in front of San Francisco.
That's Padilla making his Dodger debut.
And Texas will pay $12.5 million to see him pitch
For the Dodgers?
For the Dodgers. This is a game right now, and I'm sure Tony and Duncan talking about it, where you'd love to have a fresh Ryan Franklin and worry about the 8th and then have him in the 9th up the middle, and bad hop pass to Hana into center. But like you said, Al, this is a situation where you've got to really mix and match here late innings.
Right, because it's our indication that Franklin not available, and here you see the hop comes up, and they call it an E6. That's the 17th error for Tejada. But that's a rare bad hop we've seen from this Bill Finley manicured Cardinals Busch Stadium. We haven't seen too many bad hops, have we?
No, not at all.
It's a rare one.
And you talk to the players, I mean, they're the ones that have to play on it, and they say it's a very fair surface. And the players do have input on the surface. You know, Bill will go out and talk to these guys and say, you know, what's wrong with the field? What do you like about the field? Talk to Tony La Russa about it as well. Try to make it as fair as they can.
You know, sometimes, according to your pitching staff, how high you cut the grass. Dave LaPointe had one of the greatest lines ever describing the high grass at Wrigley Field,
which also had a huge crown for a number of years.
But Dave LaPointe said, yeah, they cut the grass with a helicopter. It's appropriate for today.
And you think of it, that's right. You think about Joe Patini, where he is situated right now in the Cardinal dugout. If you're standing or sitting like he is down in the dugout and you're at Wrigley Field, you literally can't see the other side.
Until this year.
Yep.
Because
actually last year.
Last year they corrected it.
Yep, they redid it.
But because of you know, the old time, they had to crown it that way to drain the water. Where now these fields have such a sophisticated drain system built under the playing surface.
1 ball, 1 strike. The helicopter we had earlier, thanks to Tony West in our shots.
You would may be surprised, but a lot of times in minor league ballparks, they would use a helicopter to help dry fields to get them ready after torrential rain. Some teams didn't have tarps.
I remember back in '96 when the Yankees began their great run, and they had rain in New York, and at Yankee Stadium they brought in a helicopter, trying to dry it out.
And if you're watching Bull Durham, if you wanted a day off, you just took the hoses and watered down the field,
soaked it,
so you get the day off to play unplayable.
2-2.
Brian a little bit confused as this right-hander slings the ball up there.
I'm sure you played against teams where they would try to neutralize your speed and soften up the playing surface.
You don't think with Lou Brock and Meg McBride or Willie Wilson, they would, they would just soak the right in front of the plate, soak the dirt area to where you would, if it's hard, they get a high bounce and bounce high, and guys would get base hits. They used to do it for Lou Brock. Teams used to water down the base path over at first base so he couldn't get a good jump.
And you have to think about how the Cardinals may have, used to draft with the turf. Would you look for a left-handed hitter and a guy that can slap it, as opposed to the way that now this field is certainly very fair. But with the turf and the way that was situated, you got a guy with speed, he would fit the mold. No doubt. That same with Kansas City, as Whitey had a National League team in Kansas City, basically.
Sure. When I went to Kansas City after playing 8 years in the National League, I was just shocked how American League clubs were terrified of the turf.
You see the head-to-head matchups in St. Louis. The Cardinals have really dominated the recent series here at home. We always talk about it too. In the old Kauffman Stadium, the ball would get in the corners and kind of take a turn. And that is a fair ball. Molina will stop at second base. A broken bat, a shattered bat, and just inside the first base line by about a foot or so. Dave McKay was ready to go out and push Molina to tell him that's a fair ball.
Well, Brendan Ryan, with this base hit, extends his hitting streak to 9 games now. 13 for 31. Look at there is what you're talking about. McCray just trying to push Molina, tell him it's fair ball, get hustling, and we're going to have a pitching change.
So 2 runners on and 1 out. And Cecil Cooper has not yet made the motion to, now he has. He's going to go with the lefty. Skip Schumacher digs in when we come back. Postgame. And the Cardinals have themselves a 3-2 lead. It's okay. He's off the clock. He works the pregame.
Well, he's trying to get work on his communication skills.
Tim Burdack, his 57th appearance. And we've seen this lefty a couple times in this series.
You see the opponent's batting average 176 because he's been so effective against right-handers. Early in the season, lefties were batting .333, but since June the 2nd, lefties have gone under 100 off of Burdack. He pitched last night a third of an inning to extend his scoreless streak to 9 appearances, covering 7 innings. And you got another right-hander going, warming up, as he's only going to face 1 man, so we'll probably have another pitching change, barring a double play, and Fulchino will probably come in.
So 1 out, 2 runners on. First and second, 3-2 Cardinals.
Leo Green is at the on-deck circle. So Reyes heating up in the Cardinals pen.
That is Hawksworth's spot on deck. So barring a double play, you would figure that he would be out of this game. We shall see. Big gap in the right center field. Good speed at first with Brendan Ryan. Molina out at second. Count of 1 ball, 1 strike. And this pitch is popped up. On the infield.
Infield fly rule called.
Catch made by Keppinger.
I did say Burdack is very good at retiring right-handed batters, so they may leave him in, but if that's the case, why are you warming up a right-hander? And now Cecil Cooper is thinking about going up the top of the steps. And he will come out and make a pitching change. So, Pochino's warming up. Looks like he will be the third Astro pitcher here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cardinals have the 3-2 lead. They have 2 outs and runners at first and second. And now he'll take the ball from the lefty and bring in the right-hander. So we'll step aside and see what happens at the bottom of the 7th as Cleo Green hitting.
Parents a record of 5-4. He's got 45 strikeouts in his 62 innings of work here in 2009, and he will face Rick Ankiel with Albert Pujols on deck. 2 outs, 2 on. And here we go again. The Cardinals and the Astros out in another 1-run game. That has been the case, huh?
Yeah, it's been the case, and apparently, if Tony holds true to form, he said that Franklin not available today. Always, never wanted the manager to tell me that. He didn't want him to change his mind. Of course, the game is you mentally have said, okay, I'm not involved.
Tony essentially saying he'll do everything he can to make sure that that doesn't happen, that he comes into this game. So 2 outs and 2 on for Rick Ankiel. First pitch taken high. Sal Fulcino will get it up there 93, 94 miles an hour.
He had a scoreless outing last night to extend his scoreless inning last night. Leads the club in relief wins with 5.
And a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fans didn't like that, or maybe a little bit high.
I've seen him do that a couple times. Not give the pitch down and away to a right-handed batter, but more than happy to call a pitch high.
1-1. Ankiel the swing and a miss. Pitch at 86 miles an hour.
Rick 0 for his last 10. Did have a 6-game hitting streak snapped on Sunday, and on Saturday hit his 2nd career pinch hit home run in San Diego.
And a swing and a miss. The Cardinals will strand 2. They have stranded 5 this afternoon. 3-2 after 7. 75 countries and aboard ships at sea. We always love doing this. We get a lot of feedback from it. And they're watching around the world today in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. As we always say, thank you for being with us, and thank you for what you do.
And with our helicopter theme, back in '97, I took the Admiral of the 6th Fleet and the U.S. NATO Southern Commander. I took a helicopter from Naples and landed on his command ship, the LaSalle, in the Med, and went with those sailors back into their home port. That was right after visiting Bosnia.
Made a lot of those trips over the years.
Had a lot of fun doing it. We thank all the men and women for their service.
Going out, Brendan Ryan, he's got it. Good play. As Holiday would not have been able to get there. Good play by Brendan Ryan for the first out. Reyes, one pitch, one out, as the shortstop, who's been terrific defensively, comes up with it. Well, always think about Ozzie and Kurt Ford when you think about a play like that.
Yep, but once again, you, as an infielder, you go back out until you're called off. And now Tony's going to make a pitching change, and in comes Kyle McClellan.
Now, would this be a situation where McClellan might finish the game, too, depending on how he's throwing? See if Kyle would continue to throw if he gets the final 2 in the 8th. Would it advance to the 9th? 3-2, St. Louis. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. And a strike to Carlos Lee.
Carlos Lee has the most home runs against the Cardinals by any National Leaguer this year, 4.
And a ground ball hit to third. Playing near the line was DeRosa. 40,348 today. Enjoying this one. The Cardinals 4 outs from a sweep. The numbers on McClellan. 52nd appearance, and opponents this year late in the season only hitting .218 against them.
Be interesting to see if Kyle has a very quick and efficient wrap up here to the 8th inning, if he gets the shot for a 5-out save.
Remember, Tejada has taken Kyle deep a couple of times. One of those was a walk-off home run, and talked to Kyle about that, and he said that was one of the more devastating games he's pitched in his brief major league career.
That's last year. First time you get a loss like that. He pitched so effectively up to that point, but that's going to happen. But he's atoned for it. And later in that same series, he came back and got a key strikeout against Tejada.
Since sweeping the Cardinals to get within 1 game of the lead in the National League Central back on the 22nd of July, Houston has lost 19 of 31, and Tejada has a base hit. And actually, before the game today, Lance Berkman with a closed-door players meeting only. And as mentioned before, Roy Oswalt was not very pleased with what was happening yesterday in the ball game, and so they held that closed-door meeting, and apparently Berkman and Oswalt spoke.
You know that sometimes, depending on your manager, how that is received. A manager like Tony La Russa would not tolerate a players-only meeting.
Well, Oswalt said the atmosphere is dead, and Cecil Cooper said, I don't think that's the case.
Well, because there's a reflection on your manager.
Exactly right.
So, but there's two veteran guys that are not guys that call out their teammates for unnecessarily, but I'm sure they'll get together with Cecil.
0-2. Looked like they were ready to make that patented late season run by the Houston Astros, which they have done an awful lot last few years.
Well, they really got to jump with Oswalt and Wandy Rodriguez, as they pitched very effectively in the second half, but both of them picked up losses in this series. They just, as you said, had their problems from way back in April with their starting rotation, and they notoriously get off to slow starts.
Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs and a runner at first. And a fly ball ripped into right center field. That will go to the wall. And Tejada on his way to third. It's bobbled a little bit out there. This game is tied at 3-3. So Erstad comes through with his 11th RBI, and we're tied up at 3-3.
Probably we're not going to keep Tejada from scoring, but when the bobble out there in right field happens, watch Ludwig tries to get it off the wall, did not get it cleanly. That guaranteed that Tejada would score from first base on the double by Erstad. Tie game. Carpenter denied his 15th victory, and now a potential pass to Matsui.
The deal with Coast, who today has a couple of singles and a walk on base 3 times. You've talked about it, Al. Darren Erstad, a winning player, been around a long time and has been a very good player in his career. And here we go, late innings, he comes through with 2 outs and ties it up 3-3.
And Erstad, he's a very valuable guy, very good in both defensively, offensively out there, winning player, been on championship teams, been on a national championship football in Nebraska. And, the guy he's replacing today is Hunter Pence, and that's a very big bat on the bench. And now he just come out of the dugout. If they get by Coast, Pence would pinch hit. Visit by Dave Duncan now out to McClellan.
And McClellan had him at 0-2. Bounced a curveball, made it 1-2, and then Erstad delivered with a double into right center. It's got to be a lonely feeling out there when you feel you're so close to sending your team to the bottom of the 8th with a lead, and here they go, they tie it up.
Yeah, it's a frustrating feeling, but there is one worse. That's when you're the visiting team and you come in with a save opportunity and you walk off with a nil. But it's the game's tied. You really got to pick your spirits up and keep it tied, give your team a chance to battle back and win it in regulation. Or in the bottom of the 8th.
Yep. And the Cardinals will have Pujols, Holiday, and Ludwig. One ball, 1 strike, 2 runners on. Swing and a miss. Hit left side, and DeRosa comes up with it. Mark DeRosa saves a run. Big bats coming up. Pujols, Holiday, and Ludwig. America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. And lock in $1.49 a gallon for a year's worth of gas. Visit your St. Louis Hyundai dealers today. So bottom of the 8th, and it's 3-3.
Well, the Cecil Cooper says, you guys want to turn this around and start winning, I'll bring in my closer in the 8th inning.
Interesting move on the road to bring your closer in. And this footage courtesy of Gateway Helicopter Tours Incorporated. Can't thank them enough. Get a look at the Edward Jones Dome and the Admiral. Old Admiral.
Muddy, Mississippi.
Right. Of course, a shot of the arch and Busch Stadium. Hunter Pence in right field. Valverde, the closer, in. And he will get Albert Pujols here to start the bottom of the 8th. First pitch to him.
You know, Dan, it's a little unusual to bring your closer in the 8th inning, but if you think about it, you know, look at who he has to face. He has to face the heart of the order, and Albert has had his troubles against Valverde.
How many times have we said, you know, games many times are won or lost before the 9th?
Yes, and you know, you save that closer and you can't bring him in because the game is lost. So in many ways, I really do respect this move and think it's the proper one.
Papa Grande. Valverde originally signed with Arizona when he was 18 back in '97.
And they have LaTroy Hawkins, who was closing ball games for Cecil Cooper when Valverde was on the disabled list. So I do like this move. I like it a lot better if the Cardinals score.
Ahead in the count here, 2 balls, no strikes. And it's 3-0. Now, Valverde, like many baseball players, highly superstitious. He chews exactly 3 pieces of gum when he's pitching. Apparently, he has never stepped on a foul line, and his uncle told him never to do that. Jose Mercedes, a former Major League player, said it would bring him bad luck. So he's never done that. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Albert. Lead-off walk, 4 straight. Valverde just kind of staring back into the home plate umpire and questioning some of those calls.
Well, he hadn't been watching this game or this umpire strike zone, as he's been consistent calling pitches that we believe are strikes, balls. And now that strategy may backfire, as you see Holiday, the success he's had against Valverde.
I'm sure these two hooked up an awful lot in the West Division when Matt was with Colorado and Valverde with Arizona.
That's when he had 47 saves to lead the National League, pitching for the Diamondbacks.
So the go-ahead run is at first base. That's 5 straight balls, and Coast doesn't go out to visit, not yet. This is where Pujols sometimes will surprise you and try to swipe a bat. And as you've talked about, Al, a lot of times those big, strong closers like Valverde are slow to the plate.
Very slow to the plate. You know, they have a kind of a maximum effort, but not quick at all. And Valverde fits that.
Holiday in the right center. Born over to make the catch.
Might see him do it now. You know, where I would even if you want to swipe a bag and they wanted to walk Holiday, I'd go right ahead. But you see maybe Albert, and Albert leads the ball club with his 12 steals, which also is the most by any National League first baseman. This would be a situation where you're just totally stealing it off the pitcher.
And Ludwig looks at his strike. FoxSports.com reporting that a rival club in the Central Division apparently has claimed Brewers closer Trevor Hoffman. So they got 48 hours to try to work something out. Now they can pull him back.
There he is.
And there is your stolen base. You know, you could just see it coming. You know, we've been around Albert so much. He had taken a bigger lead when he got to first, and then it just takes him a couple of pitches, a lot of times, just to size it up to see if he wants to do it.
Well, and Valverde doesn't even pay any attention as he leaves too soon, but he just walks down there. Costa's only his 5th start for Houston after being let go by Philadelphia, but he's 0 for 4 with stolen base attempts now.
Can Ludwig do it again? And there's a pitch on the outside corner. He doesn't like it.
Well, that pitch hadn't been called at all, has it?
No.
Let's see Valverde, who can get under the skin of certain people, with his reaction to the strikeout. That's where you get in trouble if you know, all game long, and we think that's a strike, but all game long, if it's never called, you know, and then at crunch time, all of a sudden an umpire starts calling it, you know, that's where you get the people get a little upset.
So 2 outs and a runner at second base. Time called by Coast. Go ahead run at second base. Rasmus, little chopper. Matsui, good play. And that sends us to the 9th. We're tied up. It's 3-3 here in St. Louis.
Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Cardinals starters steamroll the Stros. Ryan Ludwig comes through in the clutch, and post-game reaction from the Cardinal clubhouse. It's all coming up after the game, guys.
All right, Jim, thanks. Missed you in the third inning today. Here's Kyle McClellan, second inning of work, and Hunter Pence. Normally Jim is joining us. Nice play by Brendan. That was slick.
Once again, look at the hustle by Pence, and a very close play by, but the throw just beats him. But look at this play. He has been so slick over there. Now you do have to throw him out.
That's the other part of the equation.
He said, hey, it's just time. I'm making him run a little bit.
We like it when Jim comes up in the third inning, don't we?
Sometimes you miss communication. You kind of, lose track of time.
So hopefully Jim will be with us tomorrow. There's a strike at the knees to Michael Bourne, top of this lineup. This is outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. How about Jason Schmidt? He gets a contract worth $47 million. He signed after the 06 World Series. He's won 3 games and 2 shoulder operations. Ryan again, quickly to first. Good play. And the Dodgers have moved him from the 15-day DL to the 60-day DL, and that might be it for Jason Schmidt in his career. Saying that could be the final straw. And they had to do that for Padilla, and they added him.
Costly signing, huh?
You bet.
3 wins.
2 surgeries.
By $46 million.
47.
40. Oh, I don't want to cheat.
Don't be under that 47 million. Some agent out there just almost fell over, Al. He shortchanged him.
Well, that was like Dave McNally when A-Rod signed with Texas. And remember, Tom Hicks, the owner of the Rangers, he bought the franchise for $250 million. And then he signs A-Rod for $252. And Dave McNally had a good question. He said, he offered him $250 million. And he said, no, I want $2 million more.
Will that go down as one of the worst contracts in the history of baseball?
That one, I don't think so.
I mean, he was very good. He was productive in those years.
He was productive.
But the idea was to build anticipation and ticket sales.
Right, and Mr. Hicks had a lot of real estate around the ballpark, and he was going to be the centerpiece of that building.
To deep left. Holiday back. He leaps, and it's gone. Over the wall. It's a home run for Keppinger, and the Astros are back on top 4-3. Comes on a 2-2 pitch. Boy, Holiday just short. Came up just a bit short in left.
Well, both home runs, one by Holiday and then this one by Keppinger. Very similar. Just over the wall, and both of them off the Dobbs billboard.
Oh, almost had it.
Almost had it.
So 2 out, somebody on, and this is Berkman. And Ludwig there to make the catch. So the Cardinals move to the bottom of the 9th, trailing for the second time. It's 4-3. As we took a look at 5 players who can have an impact in the ball game today. Carpenter 6 innings, 5 hits. Moeller 6 innings, 6 hits and 3 runs. Lundwick a couple of RBIs. Miller, we haven't seen him yet today. DeRosa over 3, but he did have a diving play to save a run. And he'll lead it off. So let's see if he can't get his first hit. Maybe a home run. Mr. DeRosa has 8 wearing the birds on the bat. Valverde's 2nd inning of work, and I'm sure he hasn't done this much.
No, probably not. And nobody warming up, but trying to avoid the sweep here to the Cardinals. Cubs still trailing in the bottom of the 8th inning, 5-4 in Chicago to Washington, who will come in town starting tomorrow for the 3-game weekend series.
Boy, it is so tough. No matter on paper you might be favored to win a game, but it is so tough to sweep.
Well, and that's the whole game about baseball. The beauty of it is, you know, the best team doesn't always win. You know, any time a pitcher can just have a terrific game, or you get somebody just has a great offensive, you know, output and just steal a victory from somebody that maybe is a superior team. But this game is not over, even though we're in the bottom of the 9th, trailing by 1.
2 balls and a strike here on DeRosa. Molina on deck. We'll see Brendan Ryan. 3-1. Remember, last inning was a leadoff walk to Pujols. 3 balls and 1 strike here on Mark DeRosa.
Yeah, that's if somebody reaches base. The running game will be in play. We'll see if he pays a little more attention to a base runner.
(3-1).
96 miles an hour, and DeRosa had a swing at it.
Trying to tie it up.
Right. All you have to do is center the ball when somebody throws it that hard. Just center it, and that ball will travel. The walk is good a hit. Don't expand your zone. That's easier said than done with this strike zone tonight.
And DeRosa slices it into right center. Bourne coming on. He won't get it. Tying run is on. Winning run comes to the plate. And here come the Cardinals again.
Molina very good at putting the ball in play. Anything hit on the ground, it'd be tough for Yachty to avoid the double play, but with a runner on, you open up the right side as they hold on to DeRosa, and a lot more base hits on the right side where he is so good at hitting the ball that way.
Yachty's showing bunt. Pence, the right fielder, is fairly deep. There goes the runner, and a ground ball hit to third. They avoid the double play by starting DeRosa.
Well, you have to do that with Yachty hitting. You almost, you know, they had the double play on, or hit the hit and run on, but you almost wonder if it would have been worth to allow one pitch to see if DeRosa could steal, because it didn't look like that Valverde paid any attention to DeRosa either.
So here's Brendan Ryan. Good speed with DeRosa at second base. He represents the tying run. Winning run at the plate, and Brendan Ryan. Skip Schumacher on deck. 4-3 Houston here in the bottom of the 9th.
Valverde's got a splitter, so you always wonder about that pass ball, wild pitch. Brendan already 1 for 1 in this game.
That broken bat, base hit down the right field line. 1-0 pitch.
Pitch hadn't been a strikeout there. And another, this one high, and very few pitches being called on the outer part of the plate to a right-hand batter. A strike for both sides.
Ryan, foul ball. You saw this out, but Brad Penny released by Boston. So some teams out there that need help in the back end of the rotation. The Giants have said they're interested. The Yankees maybe. Marlins, Twins, the Rockies.
Let's go back to again when you said that Hoffman was claimed off of waivers by a Central Division team.
That's the rumor.
The rumor.
Yes.
Well, you have to believe the only one that would do that would be the Cubs. If not the Cardinals looking for a setup man.
And a swing and a miss. And of course, if they wanted to, they can pull him back. So we'll see. So Jeff Kappinger right now, our Budweiser player of the game, a solo home run in the ninth.
Difference of this ball game, and the Cardinals down to their final out, but with the base hit, you're hopeful that DeRosa would score from second.
So it's up to Skip with 2 outs. First pitch to him. Hit to short. Tejada with it. Steps and throws, and a low throw, and the Astros win it. They get the home run by Kappinger in the top of the ninth, and they hold on in the bottom of the ninth, and they win it by the score of 4-3 and avoid the sweep here at Busch Stadium. Much more to come as we've got the postgame show coming up. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live here on